I for sure have heard a supercut of people clearing their throat, and I don't remember when. Probably on a rap album or something.
No, I want it from a podcast. Like, I don't do it. Usually I'll hit the mute and cough or something, but every once in a while the mute's already on, and then I hit the mute and I cough directly to the microphone. So go look for it. You can find it if you're really looking for it. But if you're doing that, then you're a nutter. So
Yeah, from whatever the time around before and after I was in the hospital, there's definitely too much of me going
Hmm.
clearing my throat weekly, like a
Mm.
weakling.
So we got something there. I should probably maybe I should go to the ear,
COVID,
nose, throat doctor guy tomorrow.
the ear, nose, I know, ear, nose, and throat. Eye, ear, nose, and throat, or is it just ear, nose, and throat?
No
I
eyes.
I used to put on my
Dude doesn't hear at the eyes. He didn't know
you put
what's up
your
with that.
like your occupation on like social media. I used to put ear, nose, and throat proctologist.
Hmm. Nose and throat proctologist.
Ear, nose, and throat proctologist.
Hmm.
Ear,
Hmm.
nose, and throat proctologist. Anyway, should we start this thing?
Yeah, I'm just slimming down my shit a bit. Something
What
went
shit?
wrong. I'm just trying to get my browser like under control so I'm not like
Oh,
overclocking or something like that.
oh, I was making sure you didn't write a story because, well, actually, I barely wrote anything, but I didn't
Barely
really
wrote
have to.
anything.
I
Okay.
didn't really have to write any. I didn't really have to write anything, did I?
Yeah, you sort of did.
I mean, a little less than usual.
Hmm.
Is that?
Hmm. Yeah. So, let's have a look at the old task manager.
I almost
Okay.
forgot to write the name of the guy who wrote the
Ah.
writer
Oh, I
because I
guess
spent so much time on the director.
Maybe Zoom is actually slowing down my computer a little bit today.
Hold on, let me make sure I'm not on some weird shit here. That could be me.
Doing
Nope,
some weird shit.
nothing.
Nah, it's fine.
Nothing.
Okay. I think it's mostly Chrome that's eating an Outlook. Outlook. That's my
Chrome
mail. What the
sucks
fuck?
now. Switch to Firefox. Chrome is fucking
Really? Okay.
terrible.
I switched from Firefox, what, 10 years, 15 years ago, something?
Chrome is not only is Chrome terrible, but they're like blocking more and more like, ad blockers.
Mm.
Because a lot of those are interfering with YouTube, so they're just like going to war with basically ad blockers. They're like, this ad blocker is not safe. It harvests your information, which is like bullshit.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
I'm
I
not
guess
watching
I'll
ads, YouTube. If you missed my fucking earlier thing that I said, it's evil, and you're
so
evil, and fuck you.
you're
But
saying it
I'm
on YouTube.
also thank you
Nice.
for giving me with videos. Fuck
Hmm.
you.
Uh,
Translate that with your fucking AI subtitles.
well, it probably will. That's what it does. It's AI, it doesn't care.
Fuck. I think it cares, and I want to hurt its fucking feelings. Fuck it.
Hmm. Maybe I
Just
should just,
kidding.
I guess
AI
I'm
is nothing. AI
just
doesn't exist.
closing Chrome and redoing the pages in Edge for now because I don't have Edge. Who
Edge
uses
is
that?
Edge is okay. It's like whatever. I,
Yeah.
I just hate it because Windows keeps telling me to use it. I'm like,
Yeah,
fuck you.
yeah. I'll do it. I won't do what you tell me. Meh.
Fuck you. I will not use the browser that you tell me to use.
Severance. Bring it up in a different page. Is that the theme song? That should be the theme song. What I just sang.
Sure. It's someone just they just switched to like the what was that, the Enterprise theme? They do that. They just do a
Been a
switcheroo where they
long
just do
time.
fucking
It would be fun if,
Severance.
well, it is a show that could probably get away from having an opening one week that was just a Too Many Cooks style sitcom thing, you know?
Have you seen Peacemaker yet?
The George Clooney Nicole Kidman movie.
The John Cena
Oh, right.
television
Sorry,
series.
I did. No, I haven't.
Are you aware of the like intros? Are you aware of the title, whatever, the
Oh,
the
is that what they
theme?
do for that? No, I'm not.
No, no, don't look up anything about it. Just go and just watch a video of just the intro to the first season. You don't have to really watch any of the show. Just like watch the intro to the first season. They do a similar thing the second season, but it's like one of the best, absolutely one of the best like um intros to a show that's ever happened.
Yeah,
And
I've
it's
never.
something that would not be out of place here.
Oh, okay, I've never been like a John Cena guy. I
Well,
feel
me
like
neither. I hated him when he was a wrestler, but I like him as like
was he a
a
heel?
no.
No.
He only did a heel like turn in like 2025,
Hmm.
and that didn't last. No, he was like the good guy, but he was like this generic like cultural appropriation of black culture white guy.
Peacemaker intro title sequence. How much can you hear? What? YouTube's getting all weird on me. And now it's
I can't
loud.
hear
And
anything.
everything I just did is a mistake. Okay, there we go.
I don't
That
hear anything.
okay, well, that's cool. That means things are coming through, but um I just hmm. There we go. Now I'm seeing it.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well, that's a little different than what I was getting at.
Yeah, but I'm saying like that type of completely dead serious but silly thing is like
Yeah.
kind of that would be something that would not be out of place in the show, you know?
Oh,
It's
Robert
like,
Patrick's in here.
yeah, he is. He's great.
Okay. Hmm.
He's a Nazi.
Hmm. Okay, sure, why not? So he's not a peacemaker then.
He's I guess he's not he's more of a Klansman superhero than he is a Nazi.
Hmm.
Um
It's probably not worth distinguishing the two.
Not anymore, and not really not before that either. No, you should watch it. It's funny and it's good. And it's very R-rated.
Hmm.
The new season had like Tim Meadows show up as like this basically FBI agent who was just a complete prick, and he was like there you know he you see how there's like an eagle there like Peacemaker has a CGI eagle and that's like his best friend where he's like, I don't know if that was an eagle or not. I have bird blindness. I can't tell what the difference between birds. And he's just
Hmm.
like, he gives every anyway. No, I'm saying too much. You should just watch it.
Hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit down the list probably, but yeah.
I would put it below Andor, but above. I don't know. I said watch Murderbot. I'd put that above Murderbot, but below Andor.
Okay, I think I already forgot the word murderbot. Sorry. You'll have
Well,
to remind me again.
the studio is also better than Murderbot, but like that's something you should definitely watch
Hmm.
because
Uh,
you'd get a lot of the references.
right. Okay, I don't know. I guess we do this thing then.
All right, I'm just
Screwing up
doing
the
it. It's a gag.
silences.
It's just a gag. Welcome to Chikhai Bardo, the death before your rebirth.
There's
You're
like what,
dead.
5 Bardos?
6.
Yeah. Welcome to Chikhai Bardo. Okay, that's not really what this is though. That's like
No,
a just
you're
emphatically
not.
wrong introduction.
You're not literally experiencing Chikhai Bardo unless you are. In
Severed
which
and
case,
severed and in
welcome.
Severance podcast. There.
Yes, that.
What I said's
Welcome.
wrong in some way, but that's
You
fine.
will be severed and then
Hmm.
reborn.
How many Bardos do you cross?
Probably one.
Which one is that?
Uno Bardo,
Uno Bardo. Okay,
the
sure.
first one. The first
Well,
one.
well, I'm just going to say, I feel like going into a dream and out of a dream would be like a Bardo crossing. So if you observe the crossing, then you've observed the Bardo. Maybe.
Sure.
Okay. There we
Remember that
go.
band Bardo Pond?
Observing. I remember that, and I remember the third Bardos. I'm 5 years ahead of my time
Hmm.
from
Interesting.
67. Do you not know the song? It's a Nuggets tune.
I don't. Probably.
Oh, it's great. You'd love it. Yeah. I mean, it's proto
Probably.
punk basically. So
I probably know it. I just the Nuggets is like all those songs are just in some pocket inside of my brain,
yeah, it's on the scummier, fuzzier end of Nuggets. So probably a
and
little more.
I don't think I've like delved into that part of my brain for a long time, so I'd have to revisit it to be sure what's what. But anyway, so is it your favorite episode?
No, it's not. I mean, it's good, but it's not.
Hmm.
I mean, like you said, it's a detour, right? It's very good. It's very arty. I will say it. There's something you said beforehand. Oh, you'll get Lynch vibes off of it, which is true. The sound design, but
No.
It is
That's the episode
missing.
after this.
Oh, this one has it too, but like the weird cross-cutting stuff. But it did. There is a little bit of a difference in some way. I guess this one has to have a narrative thrust, where part of the thing of a David Lynch film is having no narrative thrust. So, or not having an obvious narrative thrust, I should say. If you try and follow Lost Highway, like as a normal story, it will drive you insane.
This to me was almost more like if Sam Raimi tried to make the most serious thing he possibly could.
Okay, I guess I could see that a little bit. Cronenberg, I guess it's a little bit, it's not weird and
Yeah.
gory enough for Cronenberg, I guess, but yeah, unless he got more into the dentistry. 2 hours as a
It's
dentist, man, that's pretty intense.
no, your whole life is the dentist.
Your whole life as a dentist. But I'm just saying, like, even how long was I in there? 2 hours. I'm like, man, my dentist trips are like, there's a lot of them, but they're like 30 minutes at most.
Well, maybe the dentist is flirting with you, so he makes it just a lot longer than it needs to be.
Ah, that could be the case.
That's
Uh,
horrible.
yeah, yeah. Uh, you want to do some trivia on this Bardo?
Yes, this title, Chikhai Bardo, is a reference to the Buddhist concept of a cycle of life and death. Chikhai Bardo is the fourth, sorry, Bardo is a reference to the Buddhist concept of a cycle of life and death. I made a note to myself that I said out loud. This is the fourth of six Bardos, the process of dying ahead of a rebirth. I put in my notes, did I get that right, Matt? I guess you've already confirmed, or you don't know.
Well, no, I'm still thinking about the Dream Bardo. Is that a Bardo or not?
Mm,
Maybe that's the first one. I don't know.
I feel like that would be somewhere in the first three. I don't know.
It would have to be in the first three because you're not dead, I think.
Mm. This is the directorial debut of Jessica Lee Gagne. And in a lot of ways, it put her on the map. She was born in Quebec City, Quebec in 1988, and her father owned a video store. She grew up obsessively watching VHS tapes, and her mother steered her towards European films. And before long, she was experimenting with 35mm film and later got a BFA in film production from the Mel Hoppenheim School of Cinema at Concordia University in Montreal. She started off working in French Canadian indie film in the 2010s. I can't pronounce any of her first 8 or 10 credits. And to date has over 40 cinematographer credits, including all 7 episodes of Escape at Dannemora. She's been the She's been the cinematographer of Severance since the beginning. After working on every episode of season 1, she wasn't sure she was coming back for season 2. But to convince her to stay on, Ben Stiller offered her a directing job for a season 2 episode of her choice, and she chose this one. She's credited as cinematographer for episodes 1, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 10 this season. Much of
So,
this
so
episode.
it's her first directing, you said?
Yes, first directorial, but she has a lot of cinematography
No, that's what I'm
experience.
getting. I'm just saying, like in that case, and I'm like, well, it made me think of David Lynch, even if it was a little watered down. I guess that's a compliment then.
I think for a first time directorial job, this is
That's
insane.
pretty much knocking out of the park for a first time job. Yes.
It was Emmy nominated. I mean, anyway, much of this episode was filmed in the house that Gagne was renting, and most of the flashbacks were filmed using 16mm film. The long tracking shot inside the Lumen office was entirely done in camera. It took months to set up, and the team took time to work on it before call times on other episodes. Since season 2 has wrapped, Gagne has announced that she is leaving the show to pursue a directing career. Hopefully, she may still come back to direct one or more season 3 episodes, especially since the reception to this episode is so strong. It is the highest rated episode that isn't a season finale. But we have no news about that because this is the past when you're listening to this, and you're living the future. The sixth Bardo. That's where you are. Anyway, she did just
You're
win her
5 years ahead of
first.
your time.
Yep, she did just win her first enemy. She did
Enemy.
just
She
win her
got her first
first.
enemies.
Yeah, just the an evil cinematographer is mad at her all the time. No, she won her first enemy. I don't
You
say it
did it
again.
again. The people know what you're getting at. They know what you mean.
Emmy for cinematographer in the season 2 opener. Hello, Miss Cobell. This episode was nominated for Outstanding Directing Emmy, but it lost to an episode of Slow Horses. I think that series must just be about horses that run very slowly.
I'd like a faster horse. I want to get where I'm going, you know?
I
Want
know,
the
like
wind in
what a
my hair.
loser. What a loser horse to go slowly.
Mark's still doing
The
trivia, but
uh,
he's
the
drinking.
episode was I need water. The episode is co-written by Dan Erickson and Mark Friedman. He's another guy without a bio, probably because Lumen erased it. His other writing credits include Night of the Museum: Secret of the Tomb, and episodes of The Forgotten and Dispatches from Elsewhere. He's also credited as executive producer on all of Severance season 2 and the first 3 episodes of season 1, which is kind of weird. I guess
He
he
took a
just left
trip.
and came back. Yeah, he took a trip somewhere. Um, this is his only writing credit on Severance so far. On the acting front, credited only as nurse. Surprise, it's Sandra Bernhard. Bet you weren't expecting Sandra Bernhard. Were
No.
you expecting? Okay. She was born in 1955 in Flint, Michigan, and has a career that includes one-woman stage shows, film and TV roles, stand-up comedies. You name it, she's had roles in The King of Comedy, Follow That Bird, Tales from the Crypt, Zoolander, 34 episodes of Roseanne, and 11 episodes of American Horror Story. We have not seen the last of Nurse this season. Actually, the nurse's name is Cecily.
Well,
I
I
know
don't
that's
know that.
funny.
You just spoiled me. How could you spoil me?
I don't think you could know that unless you see the IMDb trivia.
Hmm. You're not gonna use her name? Because we didn't know Seth for a while till we did.
It's true. So anyway, the story is Mark is unconscious and his life with his previously presumed dead wife Gemma is flashing before his unconscious eyes, including professor stuff, wanting a baby, falling in love, not being able to assemble a crib, being told his wife died, etc. We flash between all this and the current day where Devon is yelling at Ragabi and Ragabi is yelling back at her. And then we flash to Gemma actually having to run around to multiple rooms where she's a different innie in each one somehow, mostly being stalked by Dr. Maurer playing different roles. She smashes a chair over his head and escapes, but the elevator just turns her into Miss Casey again, who is confused and just ends up getting turned around by Mr. Milchick, who gets there just in time. Meanwhile, Devon decides she's going to call Miss Cobell to try to get Mark to that cabin where she believes Innie's come out, and Ragabi says she's out if Cobell is involved, and she leaves, and Mark finally wakes up.
Okay, there we go. Do you own any sweaters?
No, I won. I have a Wu-Tang Christmas sweater. I hate sweaters. I hate wearing
I
sweaters.
hate sweaters too. I don't like the texture of it. And if it touches my skin, I don't like the feeling. So
They're too hot. I don't like being too hot. I
they're
like
too hot.
breathable fabrics. I like the thermals. You know, they how they like you can wear a thermal and it's like if the room gets kind of hot, you don't get super hot.
I
You know,
guess
like
so. We
breathe.
got the heat tech, well, I guess that's Uniqlo, so you got it there too. So I got that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
those synthetics.
Now I do have a sweatshirt with a giant Chewbacca on the back, so I guess that's the equivalent of an ugly sweater.
I could tolerate a sweatshirt if it has like a zipper. I just don't like pullovers.
Does it? I don't think it zips all the way down. I think you have to pull it over a bit. So it's the closest thing I own to a
Boo.
sweater.
Hate it.
But
Sucks. I
yeah.
hate
But
your clothes.
this one, the Christmas sweater. I guess. Well, we used to have the term Cosby sweaters. Have we retired that one now? Because it was already
I
a bit derogatory. So I guess it's still use. We can still use it.
I think yes,
Kind of
it's
worse
mostly
now.
retired.
Hmm.
Mhm. Um,
I'm calling the sweater ugly. I can still evoke that a name of that guy, I guess.
so did you have any thought that maybe Gemma was severed like 8 or 12 different times or whatever, six times?
Well, no, because they haven't like mentioned that you could be severed more than once yet, right?
Did you ever consider that someone could be severed that much?
Yes, because in the past, like at the beginning of the show, we were talking about at one point I was sitting there wondering if Miss Cobell and Mrs. Selvig were both severed critters, you know?
Yeah.
So I had had that thought, and then Mr. Milchek, I'm like, is he like out in the real world but having some kind of severed thing? Like I've considered if those people that seem not to be severed actually were severed in some way.
Well, it's like we see Dr. Maurer basically it's like it's like a form of privilege where if you're not severed, then you get to role play, I guess. Because you see Milchick doing kind of a lot of that. He gets to be a dancer, he gets to play games. He gets to bring you food that's someone's head.
Mm. Although the for him, he has to deal with the same people every time, and as things get more complicated and he goes more insane, the sheen's coming off a bit for Milchek's thing, whereas Maurer seems to really be into it because he's in total control in every situation, basically.
Well, what kind of person signs up to run a severed floor? You have to ask yourself that first. It's
Yeah,
probably a person who does not want a challenge
does not want a
or or,
challenge. It
or a
seems kind of
child.
challenge. It seems so. Oh yeah, it seems somewhat challenging to run the severed floor.
I mean, compared to,
I don't envy Milchek's current job.
well, you have children hit you in the balls.
He's doing paperclip practice and going taxi driver in a mirror. So, I mean, we only see him for a few seconds where he is just like straight up, severed floor manager, Mr. Milchek, turning around Miss Casey, right? But
Well, he's also got possibly the worst case scenario multiple times, and that like the head of the company's daughter hangs herself. Um, you have to make sure this one guy continues to work there. All the
yeah.
innies escape.
See
One of
him
them tries
bringing
to
out
kill the
him
other.
bringing Dylan out into the closet the first time for that first overtime contingency. That's still kind of like a very basic mistake that is continuing to spiral, I think.
But did you notice? Did you notice that card
Yeah, of course I
in
noticed
this
the card.
episode?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
this is the third time I watched it. Was the first time I noticed the card.
I noticed the card the first time, but
I
that's probably
never
because you
noticed.
and I discussed the card.
Yes, exactly. I
So
did
the
not
importance of the
notice.
card is a little stronger now. But yeah, so he needs it back. It still seems like he could have that overtime contingency was a bit much and caused problems that are continuing.
It was the dumbest thing ever, but it's
Like he tried to
maybe
fix it up with Dylan by having the family room, but then the other idiots are all. I mean, well, Irving's gone, right? So Helly and Mark are both kind of like. I mean, from the Milchek perspective, you can't quite trust them, right?
well, you can't trust them at all, but you control
No,
them.
right. You control them, you can't trust them. I guess that's what we're doing.
You get in
It,
the elevator with them and breathe into their mouth and tell them
you crossed the line. Well, that
you
was
cross the
him
line.
making
Yeah,
another dumb mistake, really.
yeah, it was probably a bad idea, but what's his innie gonna do?
Hmm.
He's not gonna tell anybody.
Right. Anyway, it was funny just to see the in control doing his job Milchek, where we kind of know he's like at this point spiraling about as bad as Harmony Cobell, who that
Hmm.
was one thing Devon's like that. I mean, that's kind of the main thing that gets Mugabe out of the room, right? She's like, I'll call Miss Cobell, which is seen or no, Miss Selvig, I guess she says, but
No, she
no, she
says
says
Cobell.
Harmony.
She
She
knows who
says Harmony.
Cobell
Yeah,
is.
she says Harmony Cobell, and then the phone says Mrs. Selvig when she makes the call.
Hmm.
So okay, just yeah. I read that too. But anyway, calling her seems like I mean, we've talked about how Devon's generally pretty smart. Is she kind of dumb in this episode?
I hate to say it, but that whole thing, I can there is a little bit of an element of at this point getting everyone where they need to go, which I talked about how it was done so well last season without anybody noticing. Seems a little bit hammering you over the head with we have to get everyone where they need to be for the finale. You know what I mean? Like the you know?
Yeah. Anyway, I would say Devon seemed a little bit out of character in that situation. I mean, I guess it's emotionally traumatizing. Her brother is unconscious, and with a bizarre unknown sickness. Well, known but
Yeah.
rare. You get my point, right? Obviously, it's a weird
Yeah.
thing that he's going through.
Yeah, I didn't think the Devon Ragabi scenes were very good. I don't know why.
I think
It
because
maybe
she's
it
so
was
far out of character.
it's like it feels almost improvised.
Yeah. I feel like Devin that we've seen from past episodes would be a little bit more like, well, I guess this is the situation. Let me work with it as is. Whereas in this episode, she's just trying to shove it away as, strongly as possible against any logic.
Well, that's also, I don't know, you could look at it like everybody who's super cynical like Devin isn't, they're not going to be super cool when they actually are under a ton of are up against the wall like that. So that kind of does track. Like I'm pretty cynical and sarcastic. It's very easy to put me in a situation where I'm extremely stressed out and then I'm not cool anymore. I'll just go
Mm,
ahead and admit that. I'm not
okay.
I'm not authorizing any listeners to come and like put me against a wall or anything, but if you really want to, buy me
Yeah,
dinner first.
yeah, and then we see Devin and Rickon and Gemma and Mark having that lunch like in the past, which I thought was funny because it made Rickon still kind of like a bit of an arrogant prick, but it also he in that situation he seemed more like a real person, which
Well,
he did
he
after his
was
speech in
talking
the
about
first
climbing a
episode too.
wall or something, and that kind of makes sense. But I did write that in this with Gemma in the room with them, it made Rickon look like a fifth wheel, even though there were only four people.
Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of that, but it is interesting. I feel like that's the most non-bluster, or the most human we've seen Rickon, other than the scene, I guess it was the end of last season after his speech where he's talking to Annie Mark about how he knows he just gave a sweaty, stupid speech, you know?
Yeah, he's I can't remember what he called himself, but it was very funny.
Anyway, the acting in that just seemed very interesting because he removed a notable layer of Rickon for the most part.
Hamburger waiter, that was it.
Hamburger, right? Yeah, I know he wrote
It's like
that
I'm a
down somewhere.
hamburger waiter. What does that mean, hamburger waiter?
Yeah.
Anyway,
So I wrote down
yeah.
some of the rooms: Allentown, Carnes, Drainsville, Loveland, Wellington, of course, Cold Harbor. They said a few more, but by that point, I was like, I guess I've written enough down.
So these are all files that Mark worked on.
Right. So what does that mean? Is he working on
They
the
need him to
parameters of the
make
room?
rooms. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Because
That means
looking at
that
the numbers
they
and taking out the
have
scary
to.
one seems like a weird way to design stuff, especially when the person doesn't know they're designing anything.
I don't think we're ever going to get an explanation for how the hell that works.
Well, there's got to be something to all of the cues, all the things said that come back. Oh, you don't like writing thank you
Hmm.
notes. The I love you, are you listening thing. Seem
Yeah.
to have been real life, and let's put a pin in it's that real life. And then is coming back in bizarro ways in these rooms.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing I can really think of. It just, and to have to write thank you notes with a fountain pen. You ever used a fountain pen?
Yeah, they suck. And
Yeah,
also,
worst.
writing that much because in Japan we got New Year's cards, and I have to often write like for especially like the real little kids. I have to write like the every 2 weeks I gotta write like to a message to the parents, and I always keep it to like two relatively simple sentences. One, because I'm writing to Japanese folks who at best are going to be struggling to read the English if reading it at all, right? But
Hmm.
like yeah, she's writing. I put I think I might have typed a bit of what she was writing. Uh, Maybe not, but yeah, what she was, the sentences she was writing was like completely insane.
Yeah, and then it was like an electric grouter, but then he was like, "No,
Well, it's
it's a
actually a degrouser,
electric
grouser,
degrouter, degrouter,
grouter. Yeah,
grouter." So
it
you get
doesn't
rid
matter,
of the
does it?
grout.
And of
I
course,
don't know. Maybe you have an electric thing that puts grout on your tiles. Wouldn't that be
so
great?
she's always that Gemma is always writing thank you
Uh
letters
huh.
because it's Christmas time. One's always at the dentist. Okay,
All
one
those
is
sound terrible. I think the plane crash one is actually better than the Christmas or the dentist one.
yeah, because she can at least try and eat that horrible looking food.
Yeah.
You can eat something in turbulence if you really try. Of course, then he's like, "Oh, there's no problem. There, all the turbulence is going on." Because I mean, that's a mind game with an innie, right? She's probably in the plane crash one, only been alive for what 30 minutes or something. That's not true, but
I don't know.
yeah,
Hours.
you're always on a turbulent plane. It's a pretty weird one.
Yeah. Well,
We didn't
he
get to see
says
all the
she's
rooms
been.
either. She went to six. We didn't see
I
six, did we?
think we saw four. Was
Yeah,
it three? What we know that I don't think she said she didn't buy the whole thing where he said that Mark had remarried, and I don't think that there's any reason that she could, but there's reason to believe that she may not know how long she's been there.
she's probably only been there 2 weeks, considering this show.
Well, I mean, or her Audi. How long has her Audi been there? I don't
I
know.
I know it's been longer. That just like the weird time compression I keep noting, especially in this season, you know?
You have to assume that her Audi like sleeps as an Audi. I don't know. Maybe her Audi goes to sleep as an innie. We don't know
Maybe
everything.
they
We don't
send her
know a
to the
lot.
sleep room. We don't know, do we?
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
that's what,
there's
maybe
just
Loveland is a sleep room.
it makes me wonder why they even have her Audi there. It's like they should just make a bunch of innies.
Hmm.
Like,
Well,
do you
she
think
is
there's something like you
weird.
have to,
She
you
is
think there's
weird on the
something where you
testing
have
floor.
to, you think there's something where you have to have the Audi around sometimes or they'll go insane?
That, yeah, maybe you have to have like a baseline, you know? So that's what, because that's part of, reintegration was screwing up PD. So maybe it's like once you reintegrate and you tie that baseline to something that's not the baseline, it causes issues.
It really makes you wonder if they trigger the overtime contingency and she's not there, then what the hell is going to happen?
Mm, yeah.
I guess you have to select. I guess you have to select an innie for that or something, right?
I
Or
was
I
about
don't
to
know.
say, could testing floor be basically another innie? But yeah, she's like, I get to see Mark again and stuff. So I guess
Yeah,
she's aware of Audi life.
you have to assume they give us enough context to you pretty much assume. I want to say that I kind of didn't like this episode as much the second or third time watching it. This seems like one of those things where it will never hit as hard as it did the first time.
That's maybe that's why I was saying where you're telling me the next one's more lynchy, but I think this has a little bit, and that's maybe one thing where David Lynch movie doesn't have that problem because it feels like there's something deeper and unspoken. Where this one, again, it's Severance's strength, but if you're doing this kind of episode, maybe it's a little bit of a flaw where Severance doesn't hold on to mystery boxes forever, to its credit. But when you're making a episode this mysterious, right?
Yeah, but also it does a lot of like info dumping about Gemma, but once you have the information, then you're not getting the info dump. So it's sort of like this is an episode that hits super hard the first time, whereas something like the season finale of season one, you have all this tension and like interlocking pieces, but this is sort of just here's a couple of stories about
Or
people.
going out into the forest in episode 4 of this one, right? With the Woe's
Hmm.
Harbor. Because you
Yeah.
watch that again, it's like, well, one, especially you know more about what's going on with the characters. Two, when they give you the info dumps, it's those bizarro tales, and you're like hearing it again, right? And you're like, whoa, yeah, that is weird. Like those kind of strike harder the more you hear them, because the more you hear them, the more
Hmm.
insane they sound.
Well, and all the feelings you're gonna feel at this episode will be sadness, quiet sadness, or pained frustration because the doctor is like such a scummy person, and you're watching someone be like split in a million different directions in captivity, you know, after their death was faked, which is, it's definitely if I could see myself watching this as a kid and just wanting so badly for her to just murder the doctor in this.
Well, she makes an
It's
attempt.
such a I mean she hits him in the chair, yeah, that
Yeah.
happens.
I was also thinking, just for more movie comparisons, I was thinking this episode's a bit of a weird distortion of Eternal Spotlight, Eternal Sunshine, the Spotless Mind,
Hmm.
where, because I mean, I guess in that movie they're kind of like, well, they're severing their past in that case, so it's a little different, but it is like the weird brain science and the way the cutting works. The cinematography is a little bit similar to that as well. I felt like the vibe is similar.
Yeah, I could see that. You could almost there's definitely an attempt here to make you feel like, you know, that whole thing where you wish you'd said I love you to your wife before she got murdered and abducted. There's
They
a
say
thing where
car
he
crash.
seemed
That's not a murder, and then
tired. Okay.
but then abducted. He only recently learned about.
She was murdered by a tree. Anyway, the tree was moving at the speed of the earth, but the
It's
car
one
was
of those
standing still.
scary trees they have at theme parks.
It's the tree from Mortal Kombat. Um, no, but there's definitely we've already felt like this. I think that you feel like Mark feels somewhat responsible and somewhat guilty because he just was not didn't feel like he was appreciative enough of what he had, and then she suffers, and they both suffer immeasurably after. I don't know. Did Lumen take abduct her or something? We don't really.
Well, she was doing the puzzles and stuff because she said it was fun. So is Luma getting hold of that and something about, esoteric about those puzzles is like, ooh, this is exactly the person we need. So,
It sounds like they went to a really evil fertility clinic and they just decided to take her.
well, I thought they went to the like basically Lumon fertility clinic, right?
I guess they all are. Everything is run by them. I don't know. Who
I
knows
mean
how
that
much
that business could be, yeah.
stuff.
Anyway, that was the impression I got that they actually did because if you're just from the outside, you're like Lumon, whatever. It's like you buy something at Walmart. Well, I haven't bought anything at Walmart in a decade and a half, but it's like you don't really like Walmart, but you might go there and buy something.
Nobody really thinks about where
I bought things off Amazon less recently, but I have bought things off Amazon plenty, right? Not a fan of the company.
sometimes I have to because Radio Shack doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. So there you go. So Lumon, that's the fertility clinic in town. That's where you go.
And you don't ever really think about where Shelly Miskovich is, the
So,
wife of the head of Scientology who hasn't been seen for I don't know 8 years.
okay. Sorry, I needed a name check on that. And probably most listeners did too. Or I'm just dumb.
Some people know. Some people, it's
If
one
you
of
know,
those
you know.
unsolved mysteries.
Hmm. Are the severance barriers holding? We see the new office where they're seem to be sending numbers off to somebody. To Mark, I guess. Mark S.
I don't know if that's a new office or if it's just a control room we haven't seen.
What is an office? Because it's got four people at now. In that case,
Oh,
the
just
um
another, yeah, this
the
little,
cubicles are splayed outward instead of towards each other, so that's a difference, I guess. But
it
it's kind
seemed,
of it's a similar
uh,
setup to MDR, right? But you got all those core wires coming up from the severance floor, and I assume this is above the severance floor because they're talking about if the severance barriers holding.
it seemed like they had to hire extras to do that because they wouldn't have been able to get the principals to do stop motion for however long that was going to take.
Hey, I don't know, you get paid well enough. Yeah.
It takes a long time. That was a long sequence for a stop motion thing. That probably took like days.
Can you speak like a normal person?
That was definitely yeah, what we've all been thinking the whole time. That's your tell right there. That's how you know that she's herself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But herself, that's pretty, mind bleeped anyway, right? Because let's assume they have said how long ago did Gemma quote unquote die? It's actually been a couple
Two
years, right?
years?
2 years is however long Mark's been working at Lumon. So she's been doing this crap for 2 years, is I guess what you could assume. So even if she is the real Gemma, she's definitely, you know, not probably doing well in the head.
Well, yeah, you get captive, whatever, captured, live in captivity for 2 years while you're being severed all this and that different direction while some creepy doctor keeps hitting on you.
I
It's
mean, I guess
if
from her
anything,
perspective, it's like my hand hurts, I'm kind of sleepy, my mouth hurts.
if anything, it's kind of surprising that she's not just completely insane at all times. Like I don't,
Right.
I'm amazed, and this is why I think that Gemma is better girlfriend than Helly because Gemma represents basically the woman who has to do all this work. She balances a million different things in this context and still like has it together basically, even though she's forced to be in a plane crash and write with a fountain pen, all sorts of other go to the dentist over and over. And that's I don't know. That's where I take this is in the flashbacks you see Mark being kind of a little baby about things occasionally and like not able to put a crib together. But Gemma is able to do all these amazing, miraculous things and still kind of together.
I could put the crib together. By the way,
Yeah,
that's
me
one skill
too.
I do have. I have
I
that
could build a
skill.
crib from scratch. I wouldn't be good, but I could do it.
It'd be Homer Simpson level in that case if you build it from
Yeah, it
scratch,
would be
probably.
the clown. Ugh. I mean, that's, I love my mom. Don't get me wrong. She definitely made some things for me when I was a kid that were scary.
But the one mistake she does make is after she does bash Mauer with a chair, she goes straight for the elevator, and I'm sure she doesn't know the way out, but the elevator should be a hard no.
Well,
She's taking
she
elevators
just
all
couldn't think of
day and
anything.
getting severed. I guess that's my point. It's like, yeah, the elevator just seems like a bad call. Or maybe there is no way to get from the testing floor to the outside without, passing through the severed floor.
Do you think that if this
So
is
the
her first,
barrier's holding.
if this is her first escape attempt, do you think that this kind of was triggered because she went so long without being Miss Casey?
Hmm.
You think it was Miss
Has
Casey
it
trying to
been
get
that
out
long though? It might have been like a
a
week.
week?
Yeah.
But I mean, how long was she? Yeah, time is a little bit. I feel like there is maybe a little bit of a flaw in the time because we're to assume this has been going on for 2 years. Maybe it hasn't been going. Maybe she was in a back to tank for the first year and a half.
Maybe. We don't know. Or maybe you do. I don't. Probably not. But
I don't.
yeah. Uh yeah, so we don't really know how long the specific situation. I would assume 2 years though, because but maybe she was just like living in a weird, antiseptic hospital
Lumen
land for
brand.
Lumen brand hospital for like the first year until Mark started getting those files ready for her.
Yeah, because we're to assume that we're so close to Mark getting this one file ready, which is the sixth room. So he's done 5 files in 2 years.
Maybe you know what? Well, it seems like maybe the rooms are based on the scary numbers are based on subconscious feelings, like him not saying "I love you" back quickly enough, and like mentioning that she doesn't like thank you notes, and that comes through somehow subconsciously in the scary numbers, which now creates the room. Which now we're gonna have
Maybe,
to think maybe that Cold Harbor has to be heavy, like the miscarriage or something.
maybe basically it was Mark's turn to make rooms for Gemma, but for the past year and a half, they were doing rooms for somebody else's dead wife.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm all talking conjecture. I don't know how much we learn by the end of the season yet because I'm trying not to look ahead till I get there as I keep mentioning. So that's why I conjecture so much. So it'll be fun for people to be like he's so wrong, and for me to come back and be like he was so wrong or so right.
We're very close, but it feels like we're very far away, doesn't it?
Mm. No,
But
I
we're
mean
very close.
we're very close. Yes. Let's see. Other big things here. Jarring lights late at night is always a bad sign as the police come up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
that was. I mean, we aside from everything else, this was an incredibly well acted episode. I bought them as a couple and as young people, as young versions of themselves. It was.
Younger. I don't think they were supposed to be that
Well,
young.
yeah, they're not. Yeah, I'm just saying. Look, 5 years young, four, three,
Yeah, something
two,
like that.
one,
Probably not that far.
six,
Close. Yeah.
whatever. However
6.
many years younger, I bought that. I definitely, but his look when he realizes what's happening is, you know, shocking.
Yeah. But
You
I will
know,
say there was another thing that really made me think Lynch was that two shot at the end where they're in different places and they're kind of looking at each other in the field of vision, right?
yeah.
That's one where I was just like, that's extremely Lynch. And then of course, Severance sound design in general when you're on those floors and stuff tend to press those buttons.
And then she said silencio.
And then she said slow. She could have, right?
I guess so.
Yeah,
She said Chikhai Bardo.
he did. Yeah. So if you're saying the
um,
next one is going to make me think more, but this one, like I said, it came in with
no,
that in the back of my mind and definitely saw some signifiers.
the next one is just people being crazy.
Okay, well, that's fun. So more of a Mulholland Drive thing, because
It's
um,
more
I'm
just if you took, yeah, remember that part in Lost Highway where it was kind of like the mechanic shop and it was Richard Pryor and Jack Nance and a bunch of old guys just kind of hanging out being weird?
yeah,
Think that.
Okay, that's
Also,
fine.
think the cafe in Twin Peaks,
Which cafe? The
the whatever the regular one, where
the
where
regular one. Okay, because I'm
the
thinking
regular
of.
one.
I know I've mentioned Twin Peaks
It's not
episode
One-Eyed
8.
Jacks.
Twin Peaks. Okay, no, no, I'm thinking Twin Peaks: The Return, episode 8, which I guess you haven't seen yet.
I'm
Uh,
never gonna get there. Maybe I will eventually. I don't know. I
you know
forgot.
what? If you're watching, if you got me watching Severance, you need to go watch that. If we have to do a podcast on it, so be it. But yeah,
We don't have to do a podcast
that
on it.
has the world's creepiest cafe in episode 8, and yeah,
Just the cafe from Twin Peaks season one, where the abusive boyfriend and the criminal boyfriend and the criminal girlfriend and the other criminal girlfriend all work, and and everybody else just hangs out and eats pie. It's
Hmm,
that kind of vibe is what I was referring to.
right.
It's the lowest rated episode of Severance.
Okay, well, it'll be fun to explore. Um, I guess I threw out my main points. I mean, I guess we'll be referring back to this one a bit, I assume. But there's no one really to performance review in this one, I guess, is there?
You could review every one of Gemma Zinni's.
Oh, well, okay, we'll do that. First, Mr. Milchek does exactly what he's supposed to do, A plus.
A
I mean,
plus.
A plus. He turns Miss Casey around, she turns around, she goes back. He did his job, A plus.
Dr. Maurer.
He's too involved with what he's doing, and like you said, he seems to
Yeah,
be a creep. He is doing his job to a certain extent, so C plus, but
I would say C plus because he's just barely he's he's performing adequately, but he's absolutely like HR. If there was Lumen HR, which I think is just probably a weird cultist.
well, they tried to talk to him about the sweater, didn't they?
Yeah, and they said that you'd have to say goodbye to her. You'd have to let her
Right.
go. What do you think that means?
Oh, I don't know yet. That's mysterious talk, isn't it? And then like
You
Kier's
think?
can guide you is still going on, right?
Yeah.
Trying to just convince everyone with Kier talk, which is the quality aspect, So I don't know. Maybe we should get B plus because he's fully drinking the Kool-Aid of the cult.
No, I'm sticking with C plus
I am
because
too because he's a
I
creep.
he's basically getting called out by Drummond for his behavior. He's like, "What? Why are you wearing that stupid sweater?"
No,
And he just
you are
storms
correct.
off.
I was just having the retroactive thought that he is fully ingrained into the Kier cult, so he'd sing those
You know,
songs.
the funny thing about cults is, right? I think this goes across the board for cultish businesses. They don't really reward you for being dedicated to the cult. They just want you to perform. They just want your money and your labor.
Right.
They don't care. They don't care if you believe or not.
But
They
Dr.
just
Maurer
want
is
you
not
to, yeah.
he's like mid-management, right? So he mid-management's probably the more likely to be drinking the Kool-Aid of the corporate cult, I think.
I don't know. I feel like Dr. Maurer has, well, he has a better job than Milchick, right? Like
He has a
he has the
different
best
job,
job. He has the best job.
does
He's
he?
just has one person completely under his control at all times. He only has to deal with one person, and he's basically has the upper hand in every situation. He's not trying to manage a floor. He's like, "Oh, I'm your husband, and I make you do things."
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, but you'd feel like such a prick doing all those things, wouldn't you?
if you're you, but not if you're him.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
that's
I
where
think
you're saying
he's
he has the easiest job. I'm like, well, I'm me, so for me, that would not be the easiest job.
he has the really, if you had to choose between running the severed floor and doing his job, say you didn't feel bad about it. Say you could just be a nice husband to Gemma in
Well, you
your
have to be
husband room or
you have to
whatever.
be somewhat of a prick on the severed floor as well, right?
Yeah,
But
but
it's still more
you don't think that would be
sociable.
an easier job?
You eat watermelon heads there.
You don't think it'd be easier job to just be like have a bunch of rooms where you're just hanging out with one person who you had control over?
It seems kind of boring.
Yeah, it would be boring. It would also be easy.
I once no, I didn't break up with a girl specifically because of this, but it was a factor. Like we'd go, this was like when Borders was still around, right? We'd go
Hmm.
to a Borders and I'd go look around. They just follow me around everyone. Like, go do your own thing, you know? That's kind of like here it's like
Yeah,
he's
that's
like
death.
follow me around, right? So
To hell with that. Yeah,
yeah,
I'd hate that.
yeah.
I hate the idea. I can't even date somebody if they're incapable of going to do their own thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like,
So
I'm
yeah,
going to
so
go do
that's why
this.
I
You go do
feel
this.
like
Like that destroyed a relationship where I was like, hey, you want to come hang out with my friends? And they're like, no. And I was like, okay, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And that was a problem. And
mm.
that was also a problem for me because no,
Anyway,
I
the testing floor has the vibe of the person following around borders as you're looking around.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking the whole time.
So that's why I would actually, one, I don't think I'd like either of those jobs, but I probably would actually prefer the severed floor manager just because at least you could be sociable. But then you get, well, they're all getting performance reviews, aren't they? So, the doctor
I
is
pref
also getting gnarly performance reviews, I'm sure.
I prefer
You know,
doctors without borders.
you get the he'll have a page, where it says at the top in a very nice font, wears ugly sweaters for no reason.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It does happen next. Just kidding. It does not. But if I told you it happens next episode, you probably wouldn't believe me because that does not sound like something they would do twice.
I don't know. You know what? He could be flipping through his performance review for some reason. You'd see it on a page. I could buy that easily.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and spoil it. And no, that does not happen so far again.
Hmm.
That only happens to Mr. Milchick, who keeps getting the best performance reviews from us.
Um, but not always. I get the only normal any we see is Marcus through a screen, like stop motion, as you mentioned, right? So I guess he doesn't get a score, except he's
It's
just
like a
doing his
flashback.
job. It's a flashback, so no score for Marcus. Okay, I guess that means yeah, we go
We
for the rooms.
Yeah, we can't score things that we saw in Mark S's flashback while he was in a
Yeah.
coma because the board
Allentown is no Wellington is the dentist. What do we give that
dentist.
Gemma? They don't have names as far as I
She
know. It just
did
says just
complain.
Gemma.
Okay, she complained. Well, she probably does have a name, but she complained about how could she have a break? So let's give her a B minus.
Yeah, but nobody likes the dentist, and he's flirty, so B plus.
Look, you have to go to the dentist.
Yeah, B plus. So
Okay,
it's
fine,
a
B plus.
legitimate
Fine.
concern.
Plane crash.
Which one? Do we know which room that is?
I think it's called plane crash room.
Oh,
It's not. It's like in Munich or
is that
Zurich.
Carnes or something? Yeah, I guess she just lists the one she's been in. Um,
Plane
it's kind
crash
of
room.
kind of hard to give anyone a performance review when they're experiencing endless turbulence.
A plus.
Sure. No, that was the worst haircut. I mean, I guess that's their fault, hairstyle. That's hairstyle was horrible. It was, I
Maybe
guess it was
she
like
chose that haircut multiple days ago.
it was like from like Dynasty, in like the 80s or something, like the worst of Dynasty sort of
Yeah.
hair. So,
I
I
just
mean,
had a
it was
thought.
pretty funny. It looked like a cheeseball disaster movie, right? So
I did just have a thought. Like, what if they've just been rotating rooms nonstop for the last 2 years and we're just seeing the newest ones?
maybe, yeah. Um,
Anyway,
how long has she been at the dentist? We don't know. So,
well, so you have to go to the dentist.
um,
Um,
the
so
Christmas room
Christmas room.
writing.
I'm going to give her a B minus because it is an electric degrouter and she's obviously very bad with a fountain pen and
I was
does
about
not
to
like
say,
writing thank you notes.
penmanship. I
Didn't
don't
say I
have good
love you back.
handwriting. You don't have good handwriting, if I remember correctly.
No, I
C,
have terrible handwriting.
terrible penmanship. C.
My dad would only write with fountain pens, and I've
Hmm.
tried, and it was like the worst experience. I can't write with the regular pens.
Yeah, I think I tried to as a
Um,
hipster affectation once and very quickly decided not to. It was like, I'll
it's
go to
funny because
school and take my notes with a fountain pen, which maybe lasted 10 minutes.
I work with someone who kind of reminds me of my dad, and he's like insists on using printers like a lot. When he goes onto a job site, he takes like 3 printers with him, and printers to me basically are fountain pens. Like they're the worst thing on earth. Like I would do anything to not have to ever use a printer again. He's like, I love printers. Bring me a bunch of printers. Anyway,
I can't understand printer love, that's for sure.
yeah,
Any other rooms that we saw?
I guess that's the only ones. We're just
Is
we're
that
not gonna
three? We only saw three
well,
then?
technically her Audi is a Lumen employee. So can we have to rate her
Yeah,
Audi,
but we
don't
never
we?
give the Audi. We don't really give the Audi's
But
performance
the
review scores because they're
but the
not. But
Audis, but no, that's not true because we give like Milchick and Maurer and Drummond's Audis. We haven't rated
okay,
Drummond
yeah, but we usually don't give
A minus.
the MDR people scores. They're Audis. We don't give
But
scores
their
to.
Audis are never in Lumen, and they are in
Yeah,
her.
I
She
guess she's in
is.
Lumen. So,
Since she
under
hit a guy with
testing.
a head and ran away, then she gets a she gets a D,
I think
right?
because she is on the testing floor in sort of a hospital situation, does that I feel like she doesn't get a performance review. So
I don't know.
I guess she gets what you said.
D.
D because I'm abstaining.
Okay.
I don't also she
Miss
is
Casey.
abducted. Can you abduct an
Yeah.
employee? That's more of a slave,
Yes.
right?
Amazon can.
Hmm.
Miss Casey.
Oh, she does what they told her to do, A plus.
A plus. And nurse.
Hmm.
I
All
guess
those
A. Well, no, she
B
did.
plus. She kind of she let her get away. She
Yeah,
comes right back,
exactly.
but
She did let her get away.
yeah. And her
Uh,
bedside manner is not good.
A plus. Yeah, yeah. She reminded me of somebody who would say something really crass.
Yeah. So yeah,
That
maybe
is
I
that
don't
was a
know.
very interesting role for Sandra Bernhard,
If you
honestly.
cast her, you are. I mean, even if she's not actively doing it, that layer is still there. So you.
Yeah,
It's just like you cast her, the layer is there. You know.
it's great. She just is completely quiet and friendly, but you could just see on her face that she goes home and screams at people, which is just great. Ah, love
Drummond,
that. I think I oh A minus. He didn't really need to criticize that sweater.
A plus. Yes, he did. It was a terrible sweater.
Okay, all right, A plus.
You can
I
disagree with
mean,
me. That's it.
yeah, you're technical. Well, technically, yeah, he can criticize anything he wants. He's doling out advice to. He's guiding Kier's hand. Wait, he's guiding employees by Kier's hand. He's taking Kier's hand and putting it on employees and making it guide them.
Where did show me on the dummy where Kira's hand touched you?
Everywhere.
Um, well, I
Uh,
don't know. Where should people go if they want Kira's hand to guide them?
they should go. They should look at a card that shows two people hitting each other.
One
That's the
person
same
hitting
guy.
himself.
Yeah, stop. You should
Stop hitting
stop hitting
yourself.
yourself.
Stop
And
giving
you should
yourself
go to
five finger death touch.
podcastius.org and find podcasts like podcast 1999 and Films of Filth and Luke Close Pokemon Game Show, Occult Disney, and Monster Mash and Time Enough.
And sever yourself for all of those podcasts. Go to a different room for every
Yeah,
podcast so you have a different any listening to each podcast.
yeah, definitely do that so you don't remember any of them,
And all your
and
innies should
it
get
doesn't.
Patreon accounts too.
Yes. And tell all your innies to rate the podcast they listen to 5 stars, and then switch up. So you personally give every podcast
Rotate the
7.
rooms.
Yes.
Okay, there we go. That's good. I
Yep.
stepped the recording.